Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. So in this video here, you've obviously clicked on the link. You'll know the name of the video. We're going into the new dawn, okay? So we've just had Bayern Munich IPO. We had PSG about a month ago. We've got all these new iterations coming out, new divisions, new XP, new transfer policy of cards between managers. We're going to be talking through the kind of mindset you need to have right now before the changes come into play. Any little sneaky wee things we've noticed that might benefit yourself or anyone else. Like always, guys, if you haven't joined SoRare and you want a piece of the action, there's links down below so you can get an extra 100 million to draft your 10 free commons with, and you'll also get a free rare. Once you acquire 5 rares of your own, that'll come along to you free of charge, okay? So you can get yourself up and running as quick as possible. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, bells and whistles, like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys, and let's get stuck into it. Now, as you'll know, guys, from being on the channel, however long you've been here, a minute, a year, 2 years, whatever, I don't read out announcements word for word. You know, you can find where these things are and link them and go and check them out for yourself. But there's a little update that we got, a community update, which is a little quality of life update in terms of the changes. They just want to turn over those last rocks that haven't been turned over. They want to iron out those creases, and hats off to them. Lovely little update. You can let them know about your ideas. Anything you think that will improve the game, there's a little feature and method of doing that. Any players should be licensed, should be available that aren't already, and player of the month, and you know, blah blah blah. So yeah, love that. Now this is really where I want to start the video. When the new transfer system comes, or the new system comes in, when you acquire from the secondary market any card that has a high level, you will see it will lose a bit of XP, okay? Estimated level after 50% XP transfer cut, okay? So the actual XP, if they've got 10,000 points, they'll go down to 10, they'll go down to 5,000. That doesn't always translate directly from it being a level 20 to a level 10, and that's what this little table shows you. If it is a level 20 player, you're losing about 25% of level, so you're going down to level 15. So you can see that just here, down here. So at the moment, guys, we're in a position where these changes, we know they're coming in, and we need to get our Jedi mind tricks on. We need to be looking at the market, and we need to be thinking, right, where are the opportunities? What opportunities do I have I can capture now that will serve me further down the road, okay? And with this, the main thing you have to be contending with, or you need to be mindful of, is there any high level cards out there that I want to acquire in the next, let's say, 3 to 6 months? And if there is, and you have the ability, the pocket, the wallet capability to do so, now is the time to transfer and get them. If you're looking at a level 9, level 10 card, and you buy them after the changes, you're going to get a little bit of a nerf on them. And because of the way the changes are going to integrate, and I'll just scroll back up and show you this, the divisions aren't power capped anymore. The way they're laid out is on the actual card type. You know, how many are available, how many are allowed in each different division. So because you don't have the power cap to contend with, you can load in your 5 strongest rares into a D4 and make it really competitive. Now, if you're going out and acquiring cards and you acquire somebody high level, then now you'll be able to carry that level right in when these changes are implemented and go live. If you transfer for that high level card after the changes, then yeah, you can still get them into this division. They'll still be, you know, better than level 0 depending on what level you buy them at. But if you have the ability to do it now, I would strongly suggest you do that if it was something you're going to do anyway, or something you're already kind of sizing up in terms of the marketplace. Now, it is worth noting at this point, the gap between being very competitive at D4 and being competitive at D3, in my opinion, has shrunk. You know, that bridge that you need to get across the chasm is shortened, you know. So as you can see here, you've got the levels for the rares, the super rares, and the uniques, okay? So a super rare is always going to be much more stronger than a rare. But the position we're in now with like the D3, which is where I've got the most exposure in terms of, you know, being away from D4, is the super rares, you could only have them to a certain power and then they would outgrow that division. That's no longer the case. You've now got the super rares that you might be like me and have about half a dozen super rares. They are now all going to be D3 eligible. So what I'm kind of dancing around here is, now the way I look at this is I task myself with the job of positioning myself, my gallery, my cards, to be able to attack the divisions I want to attack as soon as these changes are made, okay? So I look at this and I'm thinking, I want to be positioning myself as a really strong D3 player. So I'm going to need a couple of super rares, which I have already, and a bunch of rares for different divisions, etc, etc. That's the sort of train of thought you've got to be taking yourself down. If you're brand new, D4, you can go full hog, you can go, you know, hell for leather on that. Just use your rares, just level them up and become more competitive. Wait for those fixtures to fall the right way. Wait for your guys to hit the high scores at the right time. It depends on what regions we're talking about. Could be the global, could be the under 23s, that kind of thing. But if you're in that position like me, where you've maybe been around for a while, you've got over 100 cards, you might want to be looking at yourself and thinking, right, do you know what? To get myself into a global D3, I only really need 2 super rares. What 2 super rares could I get? How much would they cost? Because what you'll find with some of the kind of mid to lower end, price wise, super rares, is that some of them are actually cheaper than some rares, especially now with some of the PSG and the Bayern guys that are floating about. That's not much of an achievement, I suppose. But I just picked up a Nadim Amiri for 0.45, and I picked up, and that's a super rare. About a month ago, I picked up a Nicholas Dorsch rare for 0.515, just over half a coin. So there's definitely some super rares that you will want to consider and you'll want to look at. Now, before, to be competitive at the D3 and the D2 level, D3 you would need to be replenishing it with new super rares constantly as they kind of got past that power cap and became ineligible for D3, whereas now you can hold them in a D3 kind of stable for forever, basically. And then this is the whole design of that's the whole purpose of the design. This is to make it a lot more seamless for you to progress up, for you to acquire new cards, win ether, go into the market and grow yourself and push yourself up the levels. So now's the time, guys. Get yourself positioned where you want to be, you know, the next couple of weeks, especially before these changes actually go live. They will go live in November. At the time of recording, this is the 11th, I think, maybe the 12th. So we're probably about a week or two away from these changes getting actioned, and I strongly recommend that, you know, you do that kind of diligence on your gallery and the changes that we know are coming. Now, I can't find exactly where it is, and I'm not going to bother looking for it, but there's some mention where we're going to have a redraft on the commons. Okay, now I've got a video coming out with Dan Jackknife, who is absolutely rinsed the Rookie League. You know, he's got his, so the Rookie League, quick recap: when you open your account, you get 400 million to draft 10 commons. If you click my link down below, you'll get 500 million. Okay, and then those commons, you can use them in the Rookie League for 8 game weeks. Now, the little change they've made is you can actually get 2 rares into the Rookie League now. So when you do acquire card number 1, you do acquire card number 2, you can get them into that Rookie League and become much more competitive. At the top end of the Rookie League, I believe you can win rares. So it's definitely something in your first 8 game weeks that you maximise as much as possible. Check that video out with Dan when it goes live. I've still to edit it down and put the video to it because it's just audio at the moment. But we're all going to get a redraft. I hope I'm able to keep you as well. The commons I already have, because I've actually invested a good bit of time into the Ronaldo, the Vlasic, the Paul Lopez, and the Paul Oniachu, if that's how you say it. Sorry, I'm fighting back a burp. So I hope I don't lose them. If I gain another 10 rares and I get to redraft, that's cool. But I don't want to lose the ones I've got already. The point the reason I'm explaining this, or I'm kind of chatting about the commons, is if you're new and you've not opened your account yet, this is a great time to be getting in and starting your commons. But as we all know, no matter how long you've been here, you can definitely earn prizes in D4 with 1 common. Maybe if you're super lucky too. But commons now have just had a massive buff, and it's kind of under the radar a little bit. So if you are new, you have, well, everyone has commons. Commons are now, you know, they start off at like 0.24 power, 0.26, 0.22, depending on, you know, the loyalty bonus, the fidelity bonus, that kind of thing. Now, a common is going to be half of a rare. And commons are, you know, power-wise, I've got a Ronaldo at level 8 or something like that. And he's X 3.1 in terms of his power. So, him at level 8 isn't even half of a rare off of auction at the moment. So when this comes in, your commons are going to become much more valuable, especially when you are, maybe you only have 4 rares, you know, you need to fill up a common goalkeeper, or maybe you have somebody like a Ronaldo or a Vlasic, a big hitter that is a common. Then that becomes, it is achievable already in the current system, or soon to be the old system, but it's something that will become even more achievable after the changes are made. So I highly recommend, if you do get the opportunity to redraft commons, draft your commons, open your account and get them, you aim number 1, and again I'll talk about this in a lot more detail with Dan in that video, but you at least get a bunch of cards that can be very useful over the initial 8 game weeks. You try and get some handy goalkeepers, and if you can get somebody like a marquee common like a Ronaldo or a Vlasic or something like that, then all the better, you know, just to help actually fill these gaps potentially further down the road. Because you could have feasibly 4 rares that are bog standard, not very expensive, and a common, and put them into D4 Global every game week, hit 1800 points and pull out some ether, or even hit the higher threshold and pull out a little bit more ether. And that is almost like a recurring little dividend that you will use to stack your balance, stack your bank, and grow from there, really, you know. So that's a change that I hope you do consider and you're mindful of. Now, I got a lot of questions from folk when I kind of said I would be making a video along this kind of line, talking about, oh, can you talk about the value of uniques and super rares and this kind of stuff. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not the best placed person to talk about the changes at that level of the game, because I have 0 uniques, and I've only really in the last month or so acquired my circa half a dozen super rares. The best thing I can comment on is the D4 to D3 level. I've dabbled in D2. I got lucky with a D2 win one game week, and I've thrown a couple of entries in there just gambly, because my super rares have been too powerful for the D3, so I can't really pass much comment on them at the moment. I will have a collaboration, I'll have a guest coming on and we'll talk about that in an upcoming video, so keep your notifications on, bells and whistles and whatever. But I do feel that super rares especially are it's my Mandalorian. Guys, Mando is pissed. I can't find his rifle. This cupboard that I record in, as I've told you before as well, a little bit of a trophy cave for me. You know, awards I've won, toys I collect, and whatever, a few other bits and bobs. And this guy I got from Japan on pre-order, so I was super excited to get that. But I just dropped him. I can't find his fucking rifle anywhere. So anyway, the reason so I've got all of Christmas is in here, so my seat is like crunched up against my kind of shelvy desk thing, and yeah, not much room to manoeuvre, so my wee shoulders caught Mando, and he's no happy with me. Anyway, where was I? Ah yes, super rares. So I've said on videos before, I always kind of look at super rares as being much more of an asset, much more of a commodity, because there is only 10 of them, whereas the rares, because you do have the ability to release 100 of them every season, don't get me wrong, I think their value is now went up, especially good football players. For good football players, on any of these platforms that we operate on are always going to hold value because they're good at football. But even more so now, if you've got somebody who can wipe the floor at D4 and D3 level as a rare, they'll hold their value, maybe even grow in value more so than previously. But with the super rares, I do feel that a lot more people will dip their toe in the water and actually go after that market, whereas in the system we currently have that will be leaving, a lot of people that I speak to certainly just think they're a little bit too expensive for me, in terms of I would probably need to get 4 or 5 for it to be worthwhile, so I've got a complimentary lineup and that kind of thing. Whereas now I can see people quite easily going, well, do you know what, I've actually got a butt ton of MLS players, and see if I just picked up 2 super rares, I can get that guy for 0.6 and that guy's only 0.9, then I've got a really good D3 outfit all of a sudden. So I can see more people making that nice little step and moving up the ladder, if that makes sense, making these divisions much more competitive, which we all want. I've done well enough myself. You know, we're on 11 in a row at the moment in terms of how many game weeks we've captured prizes. We managed to finish podium twice in under 23s, which is lovely. But I want to see you guys doing that as well. I want to see guys that are, you know, I remember one game week, some guy, it was his very first game week and he won the global D4. Love seeing stuff like that, and I think these changes will, you know, go hand in hand with doing that. But with the super rares, I expect that marketplace to become more competitive in terms of the amount of guys that are going in on the auctions to try and capture them. And also the secondary market, I think you'll probably find that becomes a bit more liquid, because somebody might, you know, you only need 2 to get into a D3 situation where you can be very competitive if you've already got that stable of rares that you're probably collecting and gathering anyway. Right guys, I want you to see comments down below. What's your thoughts? What's your plans to get ready for the new iteration? What moves have you made already? What moves are you going to make? Will I find Mando's rifle? Like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff guys. Stay out of trouble and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.